shots, though, Mr. President, ultimately. Was the Biden administration caught off guard by this latest surge of migrants? Is it clear who's going to govern Gaza once this war is over? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press. In New York City, migrant families new to the U.S. are getting into the Thanksgiving spirit for the first time, and they're helping the less fortunate, baking pies to feed the hungry. Here's NBC News correspondent George Solis on how the city's newest residents are getting back.
Deliveries don't come for special events.
I feel like he was
Care. 500 pumpkin apple pies. Not just made in any cafeteria. You don't get it now this Thanksgiving Eve. And many of the bakers have never celebrated Thanksgiving before. Have these types of wine themselves.
Totally new for him, this whole concept of Thanksgiving.
They are from migrant families from across the globe who have fled untold horrors. In some cases, know what it's like to end up in the city shelter system while seeking asylum. Like Darwin Reyes, who says he and his 7-year-old son
it's almost impossible to
escaped being kidnapped and tortured by American killers
where papers isn't even enough. You have 4 people split up, you chase one, they jump 2 collards, they break up a couple of behind, you chase one. 3 people will getting one to get the higher
Nothing. To have this culmination of families in similar situations all united under one roof to do something
at the same time,
people.
You combine it with some other good perks.
The group behind the Pi Day event, Project Russo, non-profit who's been providing full-scope legal services to nearly 1,000 migrants and their families.
Exchanging cooks is bad because painters, letting the person get cooked again, it's bad because painters are fault. Like everything is, it's like a lose-lose situation. The best thing you
The
can do is
Shanori
just bring
family
some of
fled
the
ethnic, religious, and political persecution by the Taliban.
I don't think it should be a gesture. I think there should be some kind of like simple communication system. What would you play left with the honey again? I also installed
So it doesn't matter where you're from, what country you come from, friendship, family. That is true everywhere.
Don't miss a moment of the excitement. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade kicks off tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern. Stay and watch the national sounds fun. There's a lot more news ahead. Stay watch. It's like your dog. NBC News Daily. Now watch us.
breakfast, you know, it's
leftovers for
your
screening your sweaty pants. That's right. Yeah. Later, there's ways to DVR.
I feel like TV is over here sometimes you go in and you learn anything about it. Or your teammates go down so quickly that you have to certain gens where you have to babysit, or you have to take kids because you know stuff where you're not allowed to play very much. So the best way to learn to get good in chase, realistically, is to play what you want. With a team, maybe with the duel, maybe play with a team that you know that they have your back. You know that if you get chase, some gens are gonna get Oh, if I make it to this building, that will be tough for him. I'll take it. Okay, that's good. Shot. Oh, he's breaking that. Oh, okay. I'll do it. You want me to drop shack pallet at one shot? I'll do it. I'm gonna do it still, even if it doesn't do it. Right, if this girl takes him far, I take over the shot. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I expected. Yeah, apologies. She didn't need to loop here, right? She could have gone past. I don't know why I'm so dumb. This is bad. But now I cannot fucking drop that. That was stupid, chat. That was stupid. I just don't want him to get tier 2, but I still managed to run him into a teammate, by the way. Gosh, that was tough. I was so dumb. Do I play in Gabriel? No, I don't mind. I play all the 2 hours on enough. Little head shake. Hey, Oz, how are you? Destroyed. I'm destroyed, chat. I thought what I did was smart, but yeah. Like, should I just have taken the tentacle maybe instead? He ain't gonna get to tier 2? Oh yeah, that's for sure. Hello.
Still to come in the channel news. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call.
That is interesting.
Round 0 as
On this killer, dude. I think it's not interesting. I think it's real as fuck.
Something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now?
It's hard to keep everyone blue.
The first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. Here are some resilient folks. Let me get a hint.
Why not loot the shack? That was some RNG there. Oh, good question. Because I felt like that's where maybe Talita was running to, and I didn't want to loot the fence. But yeah.
This is an NBC News special
Honestly, if I
report.
made it to this building, I should have been fine. And I thought that maybe there would be nothing in this building.
Good day. We are coming on the air with
I think
breaking
my
news
judgment
about an
wasn't too good there.
explosion at a
I should've
border
just dropped the
crossing
pallet.
near
If I get
Niagara
hit.
Falls. The FBI in
But it's a good
Buffalo
build
is
for a 1v1
investigating what it is
fast recovery
calling
after getting
a
hit down.
vehicle explosion at the Rainbow Bridge, a busy border crossing between Canada and the
Just
U.S.
restart the game
The
after a while.
situation
You
is
can
very
have,
fluid. Here's what we know according to our
Unbreakable and
4
syringe
senior
and
law
some
enforcement officials that were
medkit,
briefed
that's
on
it.
the matter. This is video of that explosion that's come into our newsroom. From what we understand, a vehicle crashed into the checkpoint structure at the Rainbow Bridge. You're seeing it right here at a high rate of speed. It hit the structure,
it
caught
doesn't
fire,
have to run the
and then
killer
exploded.
teammates also.
An initial search did not find
Well,
any indications of an
honestly,
explosive
all of the
device in the
problems that
car.
I'm
I do
describing
want to
would've been really
stress
fixed
this situation is very
if I ran
fluid,
bomb.
and this is just
Bomb is really
preliminary
nice.
information
Why
that we're
not,
getting
right?
right now. There are
You can also
2
have the
casualties. From what
Lucky
we
Star
understand,
from the
2 people that were
new
inside the
character
car.
and you
To
go
be
into a
clear,
locker
we do
quickly,
not
and
know
if you
yet
see
if
where
the incident
everybody
was
is, and
intentional
you're
or
being
simply
chased,
an
they're
accident.
probably
As a
gonna stay where they
precaution,
are,
though,
you know?
several border crossings
So if you
between
get an idea of
Western
where
New York
everybody is,
and Canada
then you can
have
be
been
like, okay,
closed for now. The
now I
White
change-
House
now I
has
take
been
the killer
briefed as
away
well,
from everybody.
as the governor of New York, Governor
That's how it's
Kathy Hochul, is headed to
This map's
Buffalo
fucking
right now to
wild
meet
for
with
now.
law enforcement and first
Best of luck,
responders. I want to get
amigo.
right to Ken Delaney, our justice and intelligence correspondent. Ken, I also want to tell our viewers that Governor Hochul has also instructed New York State Police and the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force to monitor all
That's all I can do,
entries
Chad.
into
Should
the
I
state of
help
New
you
York.
more,
It
even
talks
though I'm
about
down
the
for?
severity of the situation
Nah,
right now.
it's all you,
Again,
buddy.
all we know right now is there's been an explosion at this checkpoint. The tensions are very high in this country and all over the world because of the Israel-Hamas war. Also, it is a time where tomorrow's a
would be great
holiday
to
and,
get
and,
him,
and people can
Oh,
think that
wait,
there are
my
soft
defense are
targets.
already on the
Talk to us
job.
about what your reporting
Ah,
has shown you so far and what we think this is at this hour.
Oh,
Good afternoon, Tom. I think you're right to caution viewers that this is a very fluid situation. The law enforcement officials I've been speaking to here in Washington say it's too soon to say much of anything about this. But as you mentioned, our colleagues Tom Winter and Jonathan Dietz have reported the important initial finding that there was no car bomb inside this vehicle. The vehicle approached from the Canada side to the U.S. border checkpoint at a high rate of speed, as you said, and caused a pretty large explosion, which is why there was a lot of speculation initially that there may have been a car bomb. But again, our reporting is that there was no evidence of a car bomb. What remains to be known is whether this was an intentional act or an accident of some sort, of medical emergency. All these kinds of scenarios are possible. What's been clear from the people I've been talking to is they're not ready to even use the word terrorism in connection with this incident. They just say there is no evidence to support that. Nonetheless, they are being vigilant and investigating. I was also told that in addition to the 2 casualties among the vehicle occupants, 1 Customs and Border Protection officer at the checkpoint suffered minor injuries, but that there were no other injuries among the government workers at that checkpoint.
And we should talk about this checkpoint, right? It is a very busy checkpoint. At times it's open 24/7. It connects Canada and the U.S., but there are multiple other locations, other bridges in this area that have now been shut down as well. And Ken, explain to our viewers, because lawmakers have brought up the issue about the safety of the border, our northern border with Canada, and if it indeed could be at times a soft target.
Yeah, that's right, Tom, because there is concern that there are not enough resources, at least that's what you hear from critics in Congress, devoted to defending that portion of the border, given the crisis on the southern border and the surging of officers and resources to the south. In the north, there is concern that there's relatively fewer staffing and resources around those border checkpoints, and that, in fact, they could be potentially soft targets targeted from people coming in from Canada. And as you mentioned, we are in a state of heightened threat in this country. The FBI director and others have said that the threat from terrorism, principally lone wolf-inspired attacks inside the United States, is as high as it's been in many, many years because of the tensions over the Israel-Hamas conflict. And so, yeah, the northern border is a flashpoint of concern, as are many other soft targets across the country.
Ken, I want to put up the statement we have from the FBI in Buffalo that appears to be the lead agency right now, the lead field office that's taking care of this investigation. Here's what they posted on X. The FBI field office is investigating a vehicle explosion at the Rainbow Bridge, a border crossing between the U.S. and Canada in Niagara Falls. The FBI is coordinating with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners in this investigation. As this situation is very fluid, that's all we can say at this time. And Ken, I want you to explain to our viewers that even though this may have been an accident, and I want to stress at this hour we do not know what this is, but even if this was an accident and it is not terror-related, the governor, they're not going to take any chances, right? They're going to send all their resources because of the timing right now and because the importance of this crossing.
100%, Tom, and because this is a national target, it's not just a state or a local matter, so the FBI swoops in right away. I think it is significant, though, that the Buffalo field office is taking the lead and making the statements on this, not FBI headquarters in Washington. If there was evidence of some kind of terror plot here, concrete evidence, you may see more of a national response, but we're not seeing that. We're seeing the Buffalo FBI, state and local authorities, but you're absolutely right. They are taking no chances here, particularly because the size of that explosion was significant. It may have been caused by a full gas tank, but nonetheless, it raised a lot of concerns right away. Again, our reporting at NBC News is that no evidence of a vehicle bomb was found inside that vehicle.
All right, Ken Delaney for us. Ken, stand by for us. If you are just tuning in right now to NBC, we are covering some breaking news at the border with Canada in Niagara Falls. There's been a car explosion right at the border crossing on the Rainbow International Bridge. This happened about an hour ago. We're still trying to get information. From what we understand right now, this is a car crashed into the checkpoint and then exploded. You're looking at video, the first piece of video that we got into the newsroom showing those flames outside that Customs and Border Protection checkpoint. I want to bring in right now Clint Watts. He's a national security analyst and a former FBI counterterrorism division. Clint, you're watching this. You know what's happening around the world, what's happening at this checkpoint right here. What are the first thoughts that are coming to your mind?
I think it's a balance between, is this a local accident incident just based on some individuals in a car that created the scenario, or is it tied to international or even a sort of domestic related terrorism incident? A few things to look for, which we're already discussing with Ken. If this were an international terrorism incident, we'd be looking for things like a joint bulletin from DHS and maybe the FBI about potential attacks at a border incident, or we would be looking for some sort of relationship or a declaration by a terror group that they committed this attack. We're not seeing that at present. There also didn't seem to be an explosive device in the car or any sort of secondary device that we know of yet, and it seems like law enforcement is working through that, but there's no reason to believe that. It could be that this car just exploded due to the speed at which it was accelerating and gas caught fire in the engine. We don't know yet. The things that we will know, I think, very quickly, you probably have a car with a license plate, a VIN number, and video footage of the individuals inside. It sounds like there were 2 people inside of it. They'll maybe be able to identify those individuals and trace it out. The real concern is this tied to other international incidents? Is it part of a larger series of attacks, potentially, that happen on a holiday weekend? That's always what we look for. An example of this is the Millennium Plot dating back in 2000, where there was a terrorist who tried to go from Canada into the United States and was stopped at the border. So these are the considerations that we're looking at. I think at this time we just don't have enough information to know which it is a localized accident or really part of a broader sort of motivation around a terrorist incident.
While you're with us, I do want to stress our reporting right now is not that this is terrorism just yet. We're going to stay reporting this out. We're just reporting what we know, what we can confirm so far, that there's been an explosion at this international crossing. I do want to ask you, though, because you mentioned the holidays. The holidays are a time sometimes, as you just brought up, when people seeking to do harm to America may want to strike for a variety of reasons, including sometimes the staffing is not up to par. There's going to be people gathering at parades and celebrations all across the state as well. And this is something, obviously, that people, if they wanted to do harm to America, they're monitoring, Glenn.
That's right. It is not unusual for an attack, particularly with a terrorist motivation, ideological motivation, to pick a holiday time frame, or a key date or key event. At the same point, we've seen attacks happen on holidays. You might remember back to, I believe it was 2020, the Christmas Day bombing in Nashville, which ultimately was tied to no ideological cause, but which a major incident of violence. At the same point, we do have the Israel-Hamas war going on. This call for global jihad, essentially international terrorist attacks, and it's we've not seen much response to that. There has been any uptick in chatter that's visible from a grand scale. That doesn't mean that one individual, or we would say mediated terrorist, wouldn't take up the cause and maybe try and execute an attack, and this could be that form. I think it's still way too early for us to know. As evidence comes in, we can start to move in which of these scenarios actually is playing out at the moment.
And again, we're just going to report what we've confirmed so far. And with that, I want to get over to Kelly O'Donnell. She's traveling with President Biden. She joins us live right now. Kelly, I know there's not a whole lot of information out there, but I know you have some reporting you can share with our viewers.
I'm sure.
Well, Tom, I'm told by a senior official that the president is about to be briefed on this incident. Staff up until this point have been trying to gather the relevant information from federal and state officials and authorities who are investigating on the scene. And so the president will now be formally told what the federal government has at this point. This is typical. Of course, the president is on Nantucket for the holiday with his family, but he is always staffed for these kinds of circumstances, the unexpected, anything that could happen both domestically and around the world. The president also just got off the phone with the Emir of Qatar, talking to him about the deal for the hostages in the 40-plus day war between Israel and Hamas. So the president is balancing a number of things. That call now over, and the president will be getting this briefing shortly, I'm told. So from the White House perspective at this time, they, of course, are also telling us to be cautious to see what the facts bear out. But in terms of how this operates, of course, the Situation Room functions back at the White House 24/7, where initial information from all different kinds of entry points around the country can come in. The president has staff with him from the national security side, Homeland Security, and all of that who travel with him. He's got the secure communications here on Nantucket. And so the president has the ability to be briefed on all of this, and that is about to happen as the president is juggling various issues. The thing we've been watching so carefully over a period of days, that very tenuous deal that has now been reached and will play out over days about the release of hostages. And now this unexpected event, which so often is what you see that can change the course of events, the unexpected that brings up